SteamWorld Heist is a turn-based tactical game in the vein of XCOM. The twist of Heist is that you aim your shots manually rather than having a chance to hit. When you fire, a projectile is launched from your gun. The specific properties of the projectile and the firing pattern vary from weapon to weapon. This system is built on in several ways and results in weapons feeling more distinct than they do in games like XCOM. Sharpshooter weapons, for instance, come with a laser sight. This makes it easy to hit enemies around corners or in other hard to reach places. Projectiles ricochet off of walls, allowing for some crazy trick shots. Shotguns, SMGs, grenade launchers, rocket launchers all work as you'd expect, but having to manually shoot your weapons makes them more than just stat sticks. Sometimes I'd opt for a statistically worse weapon because I was more comfortable with how it handled. In addition to weapon classes, many individual weapons have their own properties, like being able to pierce through characters or cover. Even between two standard weapons of the same type, there are usually some small differences in how each gun handles. The manual aiming system completely changes the game. Tense situations where you really need to hit a shot are suddenly in your hands instead of a dice roll. There are still plenty of random elements, but whether or not you hit an enemy is not one of them. Manually aiming your shots also makes the combat satisfying in a way that's rare for this genre. Clearing out an entire room in a single turn always feels good, but it feels even better when you know it's because of some well-placed shots, rather than just the dice going your way. You'd think this system would get rid of situations where you completely miss an open target, but somehow I still managed to. It's not just the weapons that provide variety. Through equipment and characters, Heist provides many ways to customize your experience. Some items give you new actions, others just improve stats. The real variety comes from the characters themselves. Each of Heist's playable characters comes with unique stats and abilities. Although each character is pushed towards certain roles, they never feel pigeonholed into a specific playstyle. The game encourages you to experiment with different characters, and even once you find a composition you like, you're given many opportunities to continue switching things up. There's enough freedom in the system to allow you to build unique roles for each character. For example, two of the characters I used often were Sally, the bounty hunter, and Ivansky, the circus strongman. Sally is a glass cannon who deals more damage when close to death. Her unique ability lets her attack again if she gets a kill, enabling for some huge chain attacks. Ivansky is a tank, with access to a taunt ability, which also makes him immune to damage. This allows him to deflect attention from Sally, who's always one shot away from death. This isn't the only way to build these characters, and you might find yourself not using either of these characters throughout your playthrough. By changing party composition, you can completely change the gameplay dynamics. This has huge implications for replayability. On a repeat playthrough using neither of these characters, every mission would require a different approach. There are also great progression systems. As you play through the game, your characters level up, gaining new abilities, and you'll also gain better equipment and weapons. This encourages you to experiment with different playstyles. Although Heist is not a long game, you can easily get multiple playthroughs out of it. These systems would be meaningless if you weren't ever encouraged to experiment with them. Thankfully, I found the difficulty to be well balanced. I played on the veteran difficulty, by the way. If you don't make too many mistakes, most missions are clearable first time, but sometimes you'll run into a mission that your team just isn't suited to deal with. This provides a good opportunity to experiment with other characters and items. The difficulty is at a place where it's not frustrating, but also keeps the systems relevant. There are multiple difficulties available if you'd like more or less of a challenge. I'd personally recommend leaning towards the harder difficulties, as they encourage more exploration of the systems. This isn't XCOM, where failing a mission can end your campaign. The penalty for losing missions is minor. That said, if you prefer your games on the easier side, Heist has plenty of charm to make it worth playing on lower difficulties. SteamWorld is a unique setting. I'm unfamiliar with the rest of the series, so I don't know much about the deeper lore, but it's basically steampunk space pirate robots. As you might have noticed by my description of Ivansky as a circus strongman, the game doesn't take itself too seriously. Even though steampunk isn't usually my thing, it's hard to knock the art style of this game. The art, character, and environment designs are gorgeous. Heist has a great soundtrack by the band Steam-Powered Giraffe. I wasn't familiar with the band. As I said, steampunk isn't something that massively appeals to me, but their music fits the game well, and there were a few memorable tracks. I didn't find that having no knowledge of the setting was a problem. The story is self-contained. I didn't feel like I was missing out. I found SteamWorld Heist to be a great tactics game. Throughout its playtime, it kept me always wanting more. Every mission is a good length, even the longer ones don't drag on, and each mission is unique. The huge variety of different playstyles and customization allow for a ton of replayability. If it sounds like your thing, I highly recommend checking it out. I'm interested in trying the studio's other games, especially Build. The Majora's Mask video is coming along well. I'm also working on a Bomb Rush Cyberpunk video that's going to take a while longer. If any of that sounds interesting to you and you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.